Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from Poker's Corner, the biggest going in sport. I say the things on here that nobody dare say. Isn't that right, Coogan, Puppy Parsons, and all the rest of you from the Liquor Squad? I just want to say that it's been great to have new additions to the commission, but we need all other lads back on. Sean, Ryan, Richard. I hope there's none I've forgot. Burnsy. Uh, Who else is on there? Mikey's mum passed away. He's going to watch the Indian Premier League cricket, is it? IPP or whatever they call it, IPL. He's going out there for a month to follow that, which I won't mind doing myself one day. And of course, we've got Jerry here with his mullet. Women love him, men want to be him. I think it's his tash. How you doing,
How's
Jerry?
it going,
Ah.
man?
Oh, Jerry, still got bedroom done in lime green. How
It's the green room, Ross. It's the green room.
are you doing, lad?
I'm all right, mate. Just back from a walk, so I'm feeling pretty good. What about you?
I'm all right. Is the family all right and that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, not bad. Everything okay with yourself?
Yeah, everything's all right. I had Peter De Freitas on today. Big shout out to him. He's a legendary guy in boxing, as you well know. He used to run doors, didn't he, back in the day in East End. We all them Essex boys, all them chaps, Carlton Leach, is it all them? I think I'm not. I don't know the rest of them. I think three of them got shot, didn't they? Or, there's enough films about it, isn't there? But yeah, Peter's what a bit of a warman, as we say up north in his day. But I've met Peter. He's fantastic. We went out for a meal. Me, him, Mickey, Theo, and
Oh, very good.
a couple of the kids. Yeah, I enjoy it. He's good company. He's very humble. He's got say he's not short of a bob or two. He's very humble, and I like that. And he don't come on that much. And let me tell you this: a lot of channels. I'm not going to mention who, but a lot of channels want to get him on. Bigger channels than mine, a lot, but they all cheat with subs, don't they? And
Yeah,
he just wants to go on a channel that he believes in, the vibe kind of thing. And I think we've kind of like we've obviously I started this channel when I worked with Dennis, but the vibe at channel, it's been hard on it for me, for what my opinions and that to make a dent in it, and it really. But I think slowly but surely we're getting there. And when people are nicking all the one-liners, well, we know then, Jerry, that we're going places, aren't we? So I think
of
we're
course.
doing all right at the channel at the moment. I'm in a couple of talks with a couple of sponsors actually, which it's not a lot of money, but it all helps, doesn't it? It
All helping it.
makes it worthwhile, doesn't it? So we're going to see what appertains. But you know where I'm like, Jerry, till I see it wrote down on paper or ready's in my hand, it's pony macaroni in it. Chit
Absolutely, mate.
chatters for the sake of chatting shit. So I don't really know where to start, really, Jerry, today. So I'm just gonna do a Clint Eastwood and let's just go with it. Jerry, Daniel Dubois, he pulled out. What's your take on it?
Um, Very short notice, obviously. So, I thought that was first of all, I would say it's a big disappointment because that was the fight we were all expecting to see.
Yeah.
So, the next thing it sort of springs to mind is um, I feel that Joseph Parker was kind of denied the opportunity to fight for the title.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't seem to be really, they don't seem to really bring this up because of the whole fiasco with Martin Bakole. So I can't help feeling like Parker has another stepping stone before he gets a shot. So I understand his frustration. But back to the actual Dubois incident, I find it odd that the fella hasn't um, given a call or given even a brief interview. My understanding is he was fine the day before, bouncing about the ring. Um, and then suddenly struck down by this mysterious illness, and he can't like come on social media and give some kind of a statement or something. Do you know what I mean? So that all seems a bit odd. You can either say it's suspicious in terms of, is it maybe he's been caught with something in his system, or is it tactical? I know you're thinking of it because I've obviously been keeping up with the videos this week.
Yeah.
But I'm leaning myself towards tactical, as in, I think he doesn't need to go through Parker now, even if he was to win. And does that put him maybe, it's like chess pieces. Does that move him one piece closer to Usyk rematch, which he doesn't deserve? Why does he deserve that match? I don't agree with that, but we all know how these things work. So I think it's been tactical, and they've left it to the last minute. This mightn't make any sense to some people, but I think they've left it to the last minute because they maybe think that might seem more believable. If they had pulled it 2 weeks ago, they're playing with us. They're looking to dodge this fight, so Dubois gets put in line for Usyk. They've left it to the last minute to make it seem like, I think, like it's more believable because it's just all of a sudden. But obviously, I know where you stand on it. So I do think that your own thoughts and your kind of theories towards things could also possibly be the case too. We just don't know because nobody's telling us anything.
Well, this is how I look at it, right? Once anybody tells a lie to me, anything else they say is, to me, it's no good. Now, Bricktop, would you trust him with your life savings?
Say that again, mate.
Would you trust Bricktop with your life savings, yes or no?
Oh, no way.
Well, there you go. So this is how I look at it, right? Bricktop says he's never ripped anybody off in his life, right? Curtis Woodhouse has got 3 bounced checks in his house. One of them's in a Fremont wall. I know he got his money in the end. It took a long time. And I can give you a list longer than this room, this dining room here, of people who he's had run-ins with. So I don't believe anything that man says or any of these promoters. Not Dennis, who are a very close friend of mine. And I could walk in Dennis's house now, make me a sandwich, make a cup of tea and sit down and roll around on the floor. But when you're talking boxing to me, I don't believe a word the man says. And I'll tell that to his face. Dennis, I don't believe anything you say about boxing to me. Just full of shit. Now, Bricktop gave us half a story about antihistamines and we had to get advice and this and that. So they're not telling the full truth. If they were, they wheeled the bar out to World's Media from boxing, wouldn't they, to proper press people. I'm on about the Yanks, Dan Rayfield and a lot of them. I've got a list of what fighters earned from showing it from. Somebody sent me that were Dan Rayfield's, somebody put on the social media, but we'll get to that in a bit. But I don't believe a word any of them say. Now, Parker fight, were it an hard fight for Dubois? No. Were it a gimme? No, but it weren't a rate hard. It weren't a 50-50. I'd say it were a 70-30 fight, but they want slam dunks all the time, don't they? But I personally, looking at it from outside looking in, think he should come out and explain to the fans why he's pulled out. Because how can anybody buy into him now? He's quitting 2 fights and he's pulled out this. I personally, and I could be wrong, I think they could have took something by accident and they've got it checked out. And I think that somebody said, here, hang on a minute. If we let him fight and he puts Parker on Button Moon, which is a very good possibility, isn't it? There could be massive lawsuits. So I think what they've done, they've gone around the houses, they've protected his pawn, on it or whatever. They've protected his chest piece. Yeah. They played it safe. They've gone straight for Usyk. Does that mean he beats Usyk? No. will Usyk get jobbed if it goes to 12 points?
Possibly.
Maybe. Then they get the hands on all the crown jewels, don't they, the lot? But
Yeah.
I think Dubai should come. We're not going to get to the bottom on it with this lot because they can't lie straight in bed. So, and nobody dare question Bricktop, dare they? Because they don't want to lose the press credentials, do they? You heard what Peter de Freitas said today, didn't you? If you
Yeah.
want to start asking questions like what I asked years ago, 7 years ago, why is there no drug testing for this show? Remove him. You're done. Game, set, and match. That's what happens. And it'll happen to these others. And they know. Oh, they know. This is why they've all got splinters in their arseholes. I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But the actual replacement opponents had them all jumping up and down, didn't it? Jug ears and the Gad and them. It's a better fight. Well, they weren't saying that after, were they?
No,
Hey?
they weren't.
It's a bit like the Gad saying to Tyson Fury, well, Derek Chisora is a better fight now in this trilogy than he were the first 2 times you fought. And Tyson went, shut up. Didn't he?
Yeah.
Straight away, shut up. And this is what we've got now with this. The mainstream media, your talk sport guys, and all those lickers on YouTube with access, they're scared to death to ask any questions because they're going to get their fake little jet set lifestyles. Oh, we're going to go on a plane and stop in an hotel. They'd be on dole, wouldn't they, or selling crack or selling their asses, most of them, if they weren't doing that job, wouldn't they? That's what they were. So they don't want the bubble to burst. It's all reflect and glory. A bit like Puppy Parsons, who came into boxing as a young, snotty little Cabbage Patch kid asking proper questions. They soon softened him up, didn't they? Now he's putting videos out like, I flew with Eddie Hill's first class and I got Eddie his first burger in a Burger King joint or whatever he had. Wow. Wow. See where I'm coming from?
Of course.
Softened up. They had him to that, who is it, house, didn't they, in Manhattan? Robert, I forget his name now, some mate of Oscar De La Hoya's. Thank you very much. That's some mate of Oscar De La Hoya's, and they were giving Puppy Parsons caviar on bits of crackers and that. Can you imagine him like that? See where I'm coming from? That's what you're up against, and that's the mainstream media. We've got the Gad buying a house on the same street as Eddie Hills and Crusher Ben.
Oh my God.
It's one little club. And do you know what it all is? It's a disease. And do you know what I am? I'm the fucking cure, mate. Because when the ice breaks, I'm waiting. Because who can stop me? Who's going to stop me doing this? What they're going to do, fill me in for having an opinion and telling the truth. No, I'm untouchable, me kid. I'm untouchable. I'm all ready for when they start the games with me. I'm all prepared. Everything's in place. Don't forget, Porky's International, my other YouTube channel, by the way. Go and have a look at that on there. There'll be some more stuff on there this week. I shut it down for 2 months, but we're back. Bakole, what did you think when he got? We've heard all conflicting reports about how many planes he got on. TalkSport said a propeller plane, then 3 jets or whatever. Look, he was in Congo, wasn't he? Eating roast crocodile, and he gets the call. He's over 22 clem, right? He was fighting 4 or 5 years ago at 17 and a half, wasn't he? So where's this 5 clem come from? And why would Billy Nelson put him in at that weight? Over to you, Jerry, with your muzzy.
So I saw an interview the next day with Martin Bakole. According to him, it was 2 planes. So we'll put the number of planes to bed. According to him, it was 2 planes. Either way, we're all saying the same thing here. He came in at late notice and he travelled a long distance, which would have fatigued him a lot because we've all done traveling either in a car or on a plane. And if you're going anywhere where you're changing time zones and that sort of thing, you're I always sort of liken it to feeling like a a bit of a hangover almost. You're basically you're not good for a couple of days. So he's basically showed up there, very little rest, out of shape, and he is not prepared in the slightest. So why did they go for him? Well, why couldn't they have went for somebody else close to the top 15, who was remotely in shape? Well, according to Bakole himself, he had been asked to fight Zhang, and he turned it down, and he said it was because he was out of shape. So I actually understand his position on this, right? Even though it's not, I personally don't agree he should have taken the fight, right? So what's happened is he's felt pressure without it being directly put on him. He's felt pressure to say yes to Turkey. And obviously there is X amount of money on the table. So to keep in his, in his good books or on side, because apparently he was asked at a Ring magazine too as well in London, and he said no to something else. So he's turned him down twice. He's been asked again, short notice, whatever amount of money, because people don't seem to agree on it. But Coley, in an interview I saw with him, seemed to be happy enough with the money. So he's willing to take that money, come in terrible shape, and get put in button moon in 2 rounds. It's not a great match made at all. Parker hasn't prepared for him either, so it's not exactly ideal for him either. So he did what he needed to do, but at the same time, we've been given this grossly overweight opponent who, in name value and rumor value alone, because I say rumor value because Martin Bakole basically bases his reputation on sparring stories, doesn't he? So, he's being booked for that fight on reputation. And then you've got the likes of Jug Ears talking shit on Talk Sport, bigging it up and they're basically helping the situation to make it seem like a more credible opponent than it is. Everybody knows it's pony macaroni. The fight gets put on, it gets put in bottom moon in 2 rounds. And, is his reputation affected by it? To some extent, probably. According to Bakole, the fight with Ajagba is still on. So he gets time to maybe rebuild himself. It still doesn't make the condition that he was in sound any better. What's a 5 stone difference? Was he 17 stone at one point?
17 stone? Just over 17 and a half when he fought Kuzmin.
Well, that's incredible. What kind of professional athlete who I don't understand the mentality. You've spoke about it yourself. These guys are getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and they're not really. I think we've reached the ceiling now in terms of height. You get Nikolai Valuev, 7 feet, and we all know how terrible he was. It's now. I think we should be starting to look back now at the optimum heights for heavyweight, somewhere between 6'1", 6'5", somewhere in that bracket, and a weight range of 220 to 250 tops. That's what I reckon. You could maybe even make a case for saying a little bit lighter than 250, but just say that there is the tops. And you've got the likes of Joseph Parker. What is Parker? 6'4", and he's 267. Like, would you not expect Parker to be like 230 or something like that for that height? So basically, there's this terrible trend of get these big guys in because we've had a few big names who've been big over the years. Get them in, pile the weight on, and let them crawl about the ring and punch 7 bells out of each other. So the Bakole thing to me is a farce, mate.
In my opinion, Jerry, why he only got where he did. So we've heard for the last 5, 6 years. was Billy Nelson
Yeah.
hanging on and on and on about him on social media. I was this roadman, I was this, I was that. And when he did get his opportunity, they were running around saying he'd had an 8-week camp, and then saying he'd not fought, not sparred or done anything since August. So I was that looking after the fighter's interest.
It's 100% not. And I mean, I know Peter said there is responsibility on Billy Nelson. Didn't he say that today? So I agree. I do agree. But I can't help thinking the buck will stop with Bakole and what his decision is. However, I've already said I actually understand that he maybe felt like, Jesus, I gotta keep these. I gotta keep this guy turkey sweet. I'm gonna have to take this, and then maybe weighed it up and went, he's building a new house. He's got a family. Again, I still don't agree with it, but I do actually understand the decision to do it. But
Okay.
at the same time, you're making you can't have one guy pull out because of health and then get another guy in, risk his health. That's contradictory. Total hypocrisy, mate.
Okay, right. Do you think Billy Nelson's going to have this trainer's fee in and his manager's fee 30% of, according to Dan Rayfield, 650 grand? But no, 600 grand. So Billy Nelson will be on 180 grand of that. But according to Derek Chisora, he got 3 million Bakole. I don't believe that. I think Derek's just putting stuff out there just for the sake of it. I don't believe that. But looking at some of these purses on here, these are from mainstream media, guys. Bivol 10 million, Better Beef 10 mil, Parker 2 mil, Bakole 600 grand, Stevenson 2.1 million, Padley 500 grand, Adama's 1.2 million, 800 grand for Shiraz, Zhang 2.5 million because he's got a country behind him, out of China. Caballel 1.2 million, Boazzi 550, Callum Smith 660. So if that's true, where's this Saudi, apart from Better Beef and Bibble, which is massive money for light heavyweights, he's not paying much more than what they were getting in UK really 5 years ago. So where's all this massive money coming from? It isn't there, is it?
It's probably, everybody knows that there is money there, so they're just willing to get on the shows. They want the exposure, and the same thing we've been talking about for the last year or so.
Joshua and Fury, it's only there for heavyweights, and Better Be Bibble, you like heavies, you're elite. There's no other massive money there. I mean, look, Stevenson's a WBC lightweight champion, yeah?
Yeah.
2.1 million. Duran were getting $1 million to fight Leonard 40 odd years ago. Same belt. Oh, yeah, it was same belt, wasn't it?
And that's worth more now. What he was getting paid is worth way more now. You know what I mean? That's probably right.
Agler, what did Agler get? WBC champion. Marvin Agler. What did he get to fight Ray Leonard at WBC? 8 million? What's the damage getting? Brock's got 700 grand for Jermaine Taylor. 20, how long was that? 16 years ago. 700 grand off Lou DiBella. So where's these millions? It's not for everybody, is it? Just for your Tyson Fury, no. The Joshua's, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your Usyk and the Barda got paid well, but he obviously pulled out. Maybe there's more money in Usyk fight, I don't know. But Martin Bakole gets it back at Q, fat man. Don't embarrass the sport ever again. And I don't think IBF will give him that final elimination. You might get the Jagger fight, but they're back at Q, aren't they?
Well, I think so. I think he should go to the back of Q because if he wanted to remain on course, he should have said no.
You what, mate?
Yeah. If he wanted to remain on course, and keep his position, he should have stayed. He should have stayed at home. and waited for the Jaguar fight.
Okay. Well, let's get stuck into the rest of the card now. We spoke about Bakole, haven't we? And
Yeah.
Parker. Shaka Stevenson, Josh Padley. What do you think to that?
First question I had with that is, I had never heard of Padley before. Had you?
Yeah, it's from Donny.
So he's not somebody like that, is on the.
I don't know how he's got a WBC title shot though.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of where I'm coming from here. So how has he gotten that? That there's also a question of I know the fella he can hold his head up high. I thought he performed really well.
He forced his heart out, the kid, didn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, he put hands from time to time on Stevenson, and I was rooting for him, obviously, because he's not going to root for the. So it was beautiful. I loved that he got the opportunity. People speak about, only in boxing this can happen. That's true. But did you really get a guy, area level guy, and stick him in with Shakur Stevenson? Did you not have got someone top 20? You got to question the safety aspect there as well. Really, I know Pillow Fist Stevenson, wasn't going to put him on button moon, but I mean, I actually think Padley could have finished, possibly could have finished that, but I understand his corner. You heard his corner talking to him saying, "Look, you're doing well, but you're taking punches. Protect yourself, and basically try and cut down the amount of shots that he was getting hit with flush." So I understand their position, but I'm just so glad that he's walked away with that big payday, and I hope we see more of him, but more competitively matched, and let's see where he can work himself towards. But essentially, the choice of him as an opponent, mind blowing.
Yeah, it was a mismatch, but he did well. But Stevenson now, you wouldn't like to think they were going to put him near Tank Davis, would you?
No, they'll probably dance around that for as long as possible now.
Okay.
Which is a shame, but
okay, let's move on then, Jerry. Zhang and Caballel. Do you think they put them together to get mileage on clock and get them knocked about and that? I mean, Big Bang Zhang's pushing 42 in. He's got a bigger belly than Giant Haystacks, and he's only there. He's only there because he brings the countries at the table with pay-per-view. In my opinion, he's a 3-round fighter. Kent says he's a 2-round fighter. Kent might be right. He always seems to be blowing out his arse after 3 rounds, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that's why it was Caballel's tactic to go for the body as often as possible, because we all know the story. The guy's dangerous for I'll be more generous and say he's dangerous for 5 rounds, 5-6 rounds, simply because he still can clip you, and we saw it. It happened with Caballel. He got clipped 5th round, and then obviously finished him off in the 6th. So he's almost booked like a Bond villain almost. He's like a big monster, and say what you like, the man was in the top 10, and unfortunately, this is the landscape of the division, and he was up there. So he's an opponent, top 10 opponent for Caballel to face off with. I couldn't see too many more fights coming Zhang's way with top guys. He'll probably just be novelty puncher status guy now from now until the end of his career, because I couldn't see him getting anywhere near the top guys. I thought Ajit Caballel did well. I know you've kind of gone off him a bit now, but I think he did well. I think he
looks flabby to me, and he's been dropped by a 42-year-old fat man, and he looks out of shape to me. All this hype around him, I don't think he's going to denote. I think as soon as you get him in with a sharpshooter, Like Moses a tower, mate, he must be licking his fucking lips looking at him, and David Adelaide, they must be thinking, oh, we'll have some of that Caballero. What do you think?
Um, not David Adelaide. Atoma maybe.
Yeah.
Not
No.
Adelaide though.
Well, he looked
I
his
mean,
last fight, Adelaide, though, didn't he?
I see your point, right? But you know, this is the landscape. Like these are the guys who are making up the top 10.
Mm.
Like it or not, this is the heavyweight landscape, and Cabiel is better than a few of the other guys in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's already beaten Chisora. Why is Chisora still being spoke about? He's a journeyman. He's the most popular, famous, and richest journeyman I know of.
He wants locking
Um,
up Derek Chisora. He's a bully. He is an absolute bully. He's always photo bombing people's uh, interviews, just bursting in. He shows no respect to anybody. This is what, and people are basically scared to death of him. He's an absolute intimidating bully. He wants running out of boxing. I don't like him. There you go.
I agree.
Some of the stories I've heard, I'm not even going to repeat on here, but he is an absolute bully of the worst kind. Awful.
But,
Horrible.
just to sort of go back to Cabiel, and I'm not buying the hype. I've chosen to back him based on what I've seen. I think he's clever. He's not one dimensional, and he's a thinking fighter. If he gets blown out in his next fight by somebody, fair enough. But up until this point, I think he still has promise. So you have to be hopeful with some of the guys that are still knocking about, in the division. Even though I enjoyed Pulev, I mean, he's got that nonsense WBA belt. Like, the guy should be gone.
Yeah.
So you got to be. People are kind of trying to be more hopeful with the likes of Cabiel and obviously Moses Atama coming up. So,
Yeah.
but I understand your point, mate. I understand your point.
Okay. Do you want to go on to part two, Jerry?
Yes, mate. No worries.
Right, I'm just going to have a quick leak. So what time is it now? You want to come
5 minutes.
on 8:35?
Yeah, no worries, mate.
All right, I'll see you shortly then. Pop, pop, bang.
Yeah.
Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. We'll see you on part two at 8:35 p.m. Where me and Jerry, we is Muzzy, are going to talk some serious boxing. All right, and he's a top fella, isn't he, Jerry? With his Magnum Tash. Lovely fella. Right. See you on part two.